Going up, I mean, it's skyrocketed, so a $600 pension 10, 15 years ago won't buy much of anything here today.
And why the millennial generation is starting to give up because they can't afford to get a good job or own a house.
8 million Venezuelans voting for this assembly, saying it's actually less than 3.
It is. And people are going to start rioting in the streets.
Was reported to have asked Putin for military support that would help him stay in power.
We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
And they ignore him. And 8 more years goes by till Bernie himself finally admits to his sons, hey, I've been running a Ponzi scheme.
Does its dominance mean it can use the alliance for its own ends?
Since 1981, bond yields, also known as coupon rates, have just gone down and down and down.
Federal Reserve note will be your biggest financial liability.
Welcome to RTD Live Talk. It's Monday evening, the 11th day of the month of February. We are live. Looking forward to finding out what's on your mind. And as always, I'm very fortunate to have a guest join us this evening to share their thoughts, or her thoughts rather, on the cryptocurrency. And so this community here, as we continue to grow or whatnot, I want to make sure I get a broad perspective from a variety of people on the subject matter of cryptocurrencies. And so with that being the case, give it a second before we begin this evening's chat. And more importantly, if you are new to the RTD audience, feel free to let me know where you're watching from in the chat right here. And then more importantly, if you're interested and you're bold enough, there's a number above my head, 1-833-LIVE-RTD, which is for you to call in and let your voice be heard. So with that being the case, let's find out who's in the chat. I got Jennifer, Crypto, Scott, Bob, the Monk. How you guys doing this evening? So I want to actually get right into the interview because I want to find out a variety of subject matter. So I have Merri Silverstein joining us. She is an angel investor, blockchain, cryptocurrency enthusiast, as well as a blogger, as well as a media host. So Merri, welcome to RTD Live Talk.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, I appreciate you joining us. And so this year, my goal is to reach out to more people to get a variety of perspective on monetary policy, cryptocurrency, gold, silver, you name it. And so I want to connect the audience with more people that's of like mind. And so I came across your Twitter page from the Shark Chain Twitter, which subscribed to Rethinking the Dollar. And so I glanced at it, and it was an ICO type of thing. So we're going to get into that. But before we dive any further, let's talk a little bit about you and how you arrived at this current point in the crypto sector. So if you don't mind, share with the viewers here who Merri is and how you got in cryptocurrency and some of your basic philosophies and thoughts on the cryptocurrency.
Okay, so about 2010, I was investing my own money in stocks. I did not want a stockbroker. I did not want anybody else's ideas. Did my own research and picked some very good stocks. I bought AMD and NVIDIA, which now you know are self-driving car software. They do the lithium batteries. They actually involved in crypto, you could say. So I've done well there. I've done well in many sectors and drug companies. I've given other people tips, and I really enjoyed it. So suddenly I gave in and started reading about Bitcoin. I didn't want to know what it was. Then I read about it. And when I did, I said, wow, this is incredible. This is global money. This could solve a lot of problems for this world. I think this is what we need. So once I started investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum and other coins, I found these things called ICOs, which are like IPOs, brand new technology, brand new companies coming out, and they raise money, and then I guess they go public. So basically those were utility tokens. From there, I've just kept reading, researching, speaking, thinking, and sharing.
Yeah. So as far as your interest in cryptocurrencies, now that you are behind it full time, so I imagine that have you ever found yourself needing to defend it or to really help other people understand, because you've kind of fell in love with it a while back now, so you were more so considered an early adopter since it's been a couple years now. So a lot of people have come on board more so because of the price spike as of 2017, and it's not the same price as it used to be. So I'm sure a lot of people say that it was a bubble, it popped, and this and that. How would you say that? What are your thoughts toward that, rather?
Well, the first thing is, I don't think Bitcoin was invented 10 years ago. for us to trade it. It was invented as a different route to go around the banks and the governments, to have freedom and to become decentralized, meaning off of our internet and not as traceable by our governments, and also not to be blocked. So as it went up from 7 decimal points over from $1, which is called a Satoshi, it actually started to gain momentum and go from $10 in 2010 all the way up to what you saw as $19,000, $20,000 in the end of 2017. Along the way, people needed places to go buy it. So they started to build websites, which became exchanges. And these exchanges could open up anywhere in the world. And because this was crypto, universal, it wasn't quite the same. It wasn't regulated like our dollars are in each country. So we had a lot of freedom. As it caught on, people liked the idea. For something to go from less than a penny to $20,000 is a pretty big deal to me in 8 years.
Yeah.
So if you were just jumping on a bandwagon and then it came down, well, you might lose interest too and say, okay, that's it. I'm not interested. But it's what Bitcoin is bringing to the world, the technology that it has started. That's really what's most important. I do believe that our dollar is not what it used to be. It is not backed by gold. That's a fact. We have debt, $20 trillion, as is China, Japan, and Europe. And it's going to all get called in. And then what? Gold has a lot of value in my thinking, and so does Bitcoin. I think that they are pretty parallel. I think that if you look at Venezuela and Argentina right now, they're buying Bitcoin in Venezuela 40% above the price. Their stock exchange last Friday did $8,000 in business. Bitcoin did $1.28 million in business.
8,000?
That says a lot. So South America in general has a lot of banking issues with governments, as you know. Argentina has Bitcoin machines, and every one of them has a line around the block. They are putting in their dollar, taking out Bitcoin or 5 or 6 other currencies, and they're paying probably a premium of 10 to 20%. Dash is very big in South America. It's another crypto coin. I believe there's over 3,000 merchants that are taking Dash right now. So if you live there and you watched your dollar just completely go down, get cut in half or maybe more, and you could put it into this money that you can use right in your phone and go into stores, and you can use it in McDonald's, and you can use it to buy clothing, and more places are taking it, I think you're going to do that too. I think if you want to leave the country, it's a good way to try and take your money with you. So obviously you can travel anywhere in the world once it's digital.
Yeah.
So it is solving problems that I realized several years back or need to be solved. There's places in the world where they can't get to a bank. They don't have a car. They don't have money. They don't have credit. And all they need is a cell phone and some cellular, and they can get money from me. I can just send it under a minute for free, a penny, and instantly they can go and use it. I think that solves quite a lot of problems.
Yeah.
I think Africa is a big area that many of us are doing work for to see that they get the help that they need and that this is the solution.
Right, I do agree. And so let me ask you a question. And so Bitcoin is the original coin out of all the altcoins now. So currently there's, I don't know what the coin market cap is, but it's 2,000 or so coins in existence altogether, which we know a lot of them will be useful, but most of them are scams. And so in your opinion, for those that may be new or interested in getting into the sector, may not have any experience, may not know any projects, how can you basically weed through for real coins as opposed to the pretend fake coins? They're just
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me. Can you hear me? No sound? Nothing?
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. All right, one second.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Let me try something.
But I heard that you mentioned scams.
Yeah, so coins and scams.
In any industry, there are scammers. There are people that steal all over the world. There are people that make faulty projects that don't work. There are people that just literally steal money. This industry is no different. Was it a little bit easier, a little less regulated? Yes, it was. It was easier. I do not believe most projects were meant to be scams nor to fail. I think if you have a bunch of young people with brilliant ideas and you're willing to throw money at them before they've produced anything, then you're as much at fault. Many projects are in the works. Just because the trading amount of their coin is low, it does not mean that the project has failed. There are many fantastic companies there that can either merge together or be bought out by another company who doesn't have 5 years to build this from scratch. So you will see in the next few years how incredible these projects really are.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, can you hear me now?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, good deal. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about just where we're at now. And so we're technically 10 years from the original release or announcement or recognition of Bitcoin, the core coin itself. But yet since that time frame, we've had maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 spin-offs of that original blockchain, to where there's Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Private, Bitcoin that, Bitcoin this. Everybody has a version of a Bitcoin. Now, so a lot of people might say that you can easily fork it. Like, you can fork a Bitcoin, so how can you really have value in something you can fork? And they equate that to the same as being able to just print unlimited. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so when there's a fork, and the last big fork we had was Bitcoin Cash. That forked. And what happens is, for every Bitcoin Cash you're holding, you get the other part of the fork for free. So I didn't have to buy it. If I held one Bitcoin Cash, I just got another one. So I would not say that there's necessarily anything wrong. It's an update really in software. So you can't shut down the old one. So you convert a new one, and that's sort of what they're doing. But it's truly like an update or a better version of. Bitcoin itself is the oldest one. So it does need to be better. But instead of forking, what I think is going on now is that we're adding the smart contracts, we're adding the speed, we're adding it so that Bitcoin will be able to do microtransactions. Because right now the point is to send larger amounts of money. But if I want to start using it for $1 here and $1 there, it has to be able to handle all those transactions. So there's 100 companies that want to invest and put their money into Bitcoin to make it a better product. It is the name brand of crypto. It doesn't mean it has to be the brand.
Yeah. Now, as far as those other particular chains or forks of Bitcoin, and so we have the Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, and the inner turmoil amongst those people who are responsible for that. And so with Bitcoin itself, it was supposedly never meant, it was the white paper. I actually never read the white paper, but I hear so much about it, it feels like I read it. But for those that say that it was meant to be used as digital cash, like Satoshi, whoever Satoshi is, we'll get on that in a second, was meaning for Bitcoin to be a medium of exchange that people actually use, not sit up in a cold wallet and just let it appreciate for how many ever years, as in the form of some type of stored value. What are your thoughts on that? How far are we away from Satoshi's original plan with creating that project?
Well, you're exactly right. That's what it was supposed to be. So we were not supposed to invest in it. I think that if it stays volatile, then we will switch over to what we call a stable coin now, $1 for $1. So we're really just using the dollar, and that's just digital dollars. We can have, there's already at least 100 stable coins out there. Or every country can just convert their money to digital currency. For me, that's not so bad, because at least I feel that we will have accountability. We do not have that with the American dollar. We do not know how many they make. They can make as many as they want.
Now let me ask you a question. Sorry to cut you off now. And so allowing the government or central bank to come into that line of work, even though we are already digital predominantly anyway, now it more than likely will not be an open sourced code that can be monitored and checked. It's going to be closed and private. So is that still of use and a benefit if we can't tell what they're putting out there?
Well, what we can do, which we do need, and I think the people will demand, it will not just be digital currency. It can be centralized, but it will be on the blockchain. When you're on the blockchain, we have transparency. We can see. So just like Bitcoin has 21 million that exist, that can be made, you cannot truly alter those numbers. You can lose some, but you cannot alter more and create them. We could do the same thing. We could make X amount, and that's it. They can't make any more. That's the only way to really do it. to know what's going on. Now, then it would affect the value of a dollar. So they have now these stable coins. They're worth $1 each, and there's at least 100 of them. They're supposedly backed by a dollar. I don't know that they're regulated. I can't tell you that they're safe. I do not use them. But if we use that, then what it does is if the dollar were to go over, they will burn some of the dollars, and they will always make sure that it's balanced. I have looked at them many times. I once saw Tether go down to 92 cents about 2 months ago. I looked this morning, it was at $1.01. So it fluctuates a little bit, but I'm sure a dollar fluctuates more than that.
Yeah. So, and Tether, you know, according to a lot of alternative media people, is a very problematic entity in itself, in the fact that they print or create, you know, millions of tethers with not real proof of being validated or backed by those dollars. So a lot of people aren't too confident in Tether as of itself, but that's another subject matter. And then, you speaking of stable, so I remember watching the video, Reggie Middleton mentioned about how when you measure a stable coin in a fiat currency such as the dollar, then it's not really stable, because the dollar is not stable. So that's not a very good measurement of stability. So would you agree with that as well?
I agree 100%.
Yeah. So with that being the case, so stable coins, I'm more of the mindset that stable coins are being positioned by the financial institutions to get involved in this game, so they can be the middleman between the people who have a demand for decentralized currencies and them being able to utilize their own private issue stable coins, so that they can, you know, make some fees and profits off of it. I don't think the stable coins was actually intended for the public, in the nature that it's something that we're gonna want to hold in the case of some type of dollar type of crisis that could be coming. What are your thoughts on that? Am I completely off or somewhere near there?
Okay, so whether we're talking Bitcoin or stablecoin, everything goes against our dollar. Our dollar is the system that we're using. So if our dollar itself is crashing, so is your Bitcoin, so is your stablecoin. They're same value. The purpose of a stablecoin, by the way, was so that if you're buying crypto in an exchange, let's say you bought Bitcoin at $5,000 and you feel it's going to go down, where do I put it? You don't want to take all your money back out. You have to go through fiat exchanging. You can just transfer it and leave it there. When Bitcoin went down to 4,000, you wanted to buy it back, you take it out of the stable coin, you buy it back. So it's like interchanging your dollars or your money, but this way it was not fluctuating.
Very good point there. So you think in the years ahead, stable coins will be somewhat labeled as stable and circulating just as well as a Bitcoin, Litecoin, all those other coins, somewhat evenly? Or will people one day say, no, we don't want no stable coins, I want solely this particular coin because it's not in your hands, it's in my hands?
I think it's interesting. I think what we need is honesty, transparency, and something we believe in. Some people want community coins. They feel, let's keep our money in our neighborhood, let's build up our own people, our merchants, our friends, let's use our own coin. Those people would need their own stable coin. They would put in $1 and take out a coin. That has nothing to do with the value of your dollar, but $1 is $1. So instead of wanting to use US dollar coins, which already does exist, you can use your own community coin. All of this is still, remember, based on the dollar. Every currency in this world is based on the dollar. Even gold, when we talk about the price, is $1,310.
Good point. That's a good point there. So a part of the whole rethinking the dollar message is that, you know, right now amongst us or in our very midst, there's the forces that surrounds us that are doing things to make sure that this next monetary reset or restructuring that it's underway after this next recession / crash, things will not be based upon a dollar. And so that's where we're going to get into, you know, what could be down the line and how important alternatives are, basically. So not necessarily condoning one coin over the other, but having alternatives outside of your national currencies, which are presenting themselves as a problem for most people. Now, so let's get into some actual projects itself. So ICOs. And so what are some of the things that you look for in projects that catch your eye or you have interest in? How do you determine a good ICO from one that's a scam?
Okay, so just because it's now on the blockchain doesn't mean it needs to be made. It needs to have a purpose. What is the reason of me using the crypto or the blockchain for this particular company? If it already exists without blockchain and it's just fine, I don't need it. So there's a lot of great things, though. Besides transparency, we have DLT, we have ledgers, and so we can knock out accounting departments. If I say that I'm going to perform this for you 10 times, and when I do, you're going to pay me, the blockchain can keep count, and when I do it the 10th time, automatically pay me in some sort of a crypto coin. And that takes away the billing department, the accounting department, filing it, all of that work. It's instantaneous. Now the money moves within seconds instead of a month or two later. So which speeds up the money, which in my mind also could cause another problem with our dollar, because all of that money out there in credit is going to get called in. Just another thought. So what I look for in a project is who are the people involved? What have they done before? What are their skills? What is their knowledge? I try to go out and meet them or some of them. And what is it? How far are they in the project? What do they really have? What companies are interested in using their project? Who would benefit from this? And even what are their tokenomics? How much of this money that they have to raise to build the project actually goes to them? How much goes to the people that are going to use these projects in the end? And what can it do for our world? Not me or them, but what can it do really for this whole world? What problems does it solve? So I have seen some phenomenal projects, and I've seen obviously a lot of projects that I wasn't even interested in, for even more than 1 second. Obviously, things around money were very big projects. Exchanges, stable coins, lending money, giving in your money and getting interest on your crypto. But this is the basis of our world. These are the companies that exist outside of blockchain. So without banking, when it comes to currency of any kind, you know, we don't have some sort of control or safety. So I guess all of that comes first.
Good point. Good point. Now let's dive a little further into and so XRP. I'm gonna throw out a couple coins to you. Let me know what you think on them based upon everything you've done research-wise. XRP, a lot of people in the alternative media space are really excited about XRP because they are more so interested in the next pump or rally, well beyond a $3 point, or for whatever it might end up being down the line. And so what are your thoughts on XRP? A lot of people think, I think more so, it's a coin designed for banking institutions. And so the whole idea of decentralizing crypto was to somewhat, you know, lessen their control over us, but yet run into XRP to hold it and use it from a consumer standpoint. Do you think that's something that it will be wise in the days ahead?
In the days ahead, maybe I'll go up a little bit. It's down today. Most of the coins are up. I'm not a fan. The banks are using it. They've bought up large chunks of it, and it's still worth 30 cents. I'm not really impressed with what it does. I don't think it's the end solution. It might be working at the moment. I think we have better things coming.
Better things coming. Better things coming. Anything on your radar that the general public may not know about that might be worthwhile? And then also, I'll let you answer that. Then I got another question for you. Go ahead. I said I'll let you answer that. And then I have another question for you.
Is there something better coming than Ripple?
Yeah.
For large quantities of money?
Large quantities of money that the banking system might prefer to use, and eventually force the public to utilize as well. No,
I do not know the names in particular. Are there projects? There are projects. Ripple's not really what the public uses, though. That's really from bank to bank.
Yeah.
It's kind of knocked out like Swift. So we don't really use it, you and I. You and I will use many of these other coins, but we don't use it.
Yeah.
I don't think it really is going to go up all that much in value. No.
Really? Interesting. All right. Now, and so you were over in Davos. You were over in Switzerland, Davos, Switzerland, for the World Economic Forum. And so I saw on your Twitter page, you posted some comments about Mr. Reggie Middleton. So we're all familiar with Reggie Middleton here. He joined me on a program 2 or 3 years ago, so I had him on. And so he had a nice interchange with a economist slash very anti-crypto gentleman there. So can you chime in a little bit on that conversation and what your thoughts were and just overall audience reception towards Reggie trying to challenge him about Bitcoin and banking and things of that nature?
Yeah, I saw Nouriel's name in some of the lectures during the week, and I was not interested in going to any of those. On the fifth day, I went to a conference, all crypto, by LA Token and Exchange. And I came in to sit down, and there's Nouriel speaking. And he's really strongly anti-crypto. He just is, and his attitude is just as bad. He's so negative, and it's his way or no way. Reggie walked in a little bit after myself, and I'm sure that he felt very much like I did, and I'm hoping many people in the room felt this way. And to be honest, I texted him and said, "You're not going to let him do this, are you? Come on, ask him a question." So he did. And I took out my phone and I videoed it. It was about 4 minutes. I'm now blocked by Rubini too. I've joined the club. There's a T-shirt that says, "You're not all crypto if you're not blocked by Nouriel."
Really?
So, and there's nothing that Reggie is not saying that is not 100% factual. He is not making this up. These are facts that we can research that are the truth. Gold is gold, money's money, and how these systems all work are not new. And Nouriel, of course, cannot really answer his questions. So it was really kind of funny to me. I felt like there was a division in the room of the people with Nouriel and the people against. It felt strong to me, and I could not believe that they're at a crypto conference when there's so many conferences every day. You have a choice of what you want to go to and sign up or get invited to. Why are they in the room if they're so anti-crypto? We're here to talk about an exchange of crypto coins. That's who made the conference, and about projects and things that we can do to make this world a better place. That's what Davos itself you're there to do.
Yeah.
And I think that Reggie works very hard and also has brilliant projects. He's in countries that I was shocked that really need the help. He's in Egypt, he's in Africa, and he's all good in my opinion. It's just shocking that people want to go so harshly against. It almost makes you feel that there's something in it for Nouriel.
Yeah, I would agree as well, because I'm not sure what body of Congress, I think it was Congress, he gave a presentation or something before, the Senate or something like that, and just to hit the remarks he made and the fact that he was given a platform to do that, and it looks like the Congress people actually believed him or took it serious, lets me know that, you know, he's in on something, because he has to spew his intellectual understanding or lack thereof of it, and it doesn't really reflect what's going on in the real world. So we'll see how it plays out, but I'm sure that it's something bigger and better than that. But let's keep things moving right along. So for those that are watching, I have Merri Silverstein joining us. And so she's a crypto enthusiast, media host, blogger, you name it. And so if anyone has any questions, if you guys want to ask a question directly, feel free to call in 1-833-LIVE-RTD or in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions or whatnot. I'll definitely throw them out there to you and see if we can get some good questions out there. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the coins that you listed earlier that's actually being utilized. So here in the U.S., there's a big push for adoption. And so there's all types of communities, whether it be the Litecoin family and the Dash. I mean, there's so many different communities now that are really trying to get adoption up and running. What are your thoughts on the progress they're making? Are the communities actually pushing the adoption aspect, or say, for example, the banking sector or the exchanges or the as they say, the hedge fund, the big money, are they the ones that's going to make sure that this adoption is done after they are already in heavily and can profit still? What are your thoughts on the adoption movement?
Well, as you know, the ETFs, they say, could come through any day. Once that happens, then I think the big institutional money wants to come on in. Adoption itself here in the U.S. is not that good. I believe the West Coast is more so open to it. They use a lot of Litecoin there. There are places I go and I ask if they take Bitcoin. Miami is a good place. They take some Bitcoin. They have Bitcoin machines. But the adoption is going to the countries and the places that need it the most. I think that we're smart enough to get up and go over there and help them. And that is actually more important to me, because right now people here are fine with their credit cards, their cash. it's more important that we help those who need it first than we just necessarily use it. As you know, Puerto Rico is a big hub now for crypto people. I'm sure they will have restaurants and stores up and down every street that will all take crypto 100%.
Yeah.
And if that's what you choose, then that's a good place to live, seeing as how you don't really have to pay any tax there, federal or state. Right. So, you know, crypto is a new thing for people here in the U.S. to use every day. So they're just getting used to an Apple Pay or something like that. They have their credit card. They don't need to change things as much. I think it will come here over time. But this year already, in the past 6 weeks, we're seeing some more things. It's really starting to pick up. You know, Ohio State takes it for their tax. Wyoming, Nevada are states that are trying to make laws for crypto. They're friendly to it. Rhode Island. Florida has a blockchain association. So we are trying to make this all work together. And a lot of us want our freedom. And the more people that join in and feel the same way, the stronger this movement can be. Yeah. We're entitled to know the truth. We're entitled to have our freedom. I've paid tax on my dollars. I don't think I have to be taxed again or watched again. I'm not doing anything illegal. And I don't hear as much that comment anymore that Bitcoin is just for illegal guns and drugs, because I think they get it now. That stuff is found much easier on a blockchain where it's traceable than in dollar bills.
Yeah. Now, one of the big things that has not become clear or obvious is the whole regulation, and just from a government standpoint, how will it be viewed upon, whether it be for tax purposes? There's so much things that aren't clear just yet. Do you see that being established before the adoption hits Main Street to where you can, and also I got more questions, but you know, there's more hints at adoption now that I think the Samsung S10 has a cold storage wallet in it, supposedly. So there's institutions, companies getting involved with it. What about the taxes? What about the regulation? What about all that stuff? Will it be set up before, you know, you can go down to your bank and just convert at your local commercial bank, perhaps?
So the SEC has made a proposal. It's out there right now to change some laws due to crypto. They haven't changed the laws in 72 years. And one ruling would be that if you bought Bitcoin and you transferred it from coin to coin to coin, you will not be paying tax. And if you buy a cup of coffee in the end, you will not be paying tax on that money if there's a profit. Yeah. So if you do change your crypto back into cash, into fiat, that is when you will pay tax. So I think I tweeted it out a few months ago and just tried to get to the basics to share with everybody what is proposed.
Okay, good deal. So that's something I definitely have to check in more into. So I have a question, a couple questions in the chat, so I'm going to go right there. And so someone asked a question, excuse me, what was it? About VeChain, the particular blockchain VeChain. Says, question for your guest, does she have some insight on VeChain? How big does she see it becoming?
As far as our government goes, I think that the SEC, Jay Clayton, is trying to be fair and reasonable. I think their biggest concern were the ICOs. They don't want American investors to put money into something that isn't real. That's fair. You cannot collect people's money for business and truly run off with it. That's not usually what happened, but it happened. I think that the government always wants their tax dollars. If you make money in stocks, you will pay tax. So if you make money in securities, you could pay tax. Bitcoin and Ethereum have both been ruled not a security. Ripple is next. We'll see what that is. But as of now, try and do the right thing. If you see you make a big profit and you cash it out, you have to pay tax.
Good point there. Good point there. Now, as far as if you don't mind sharing, what are some projects, some coins that you, from your experience, you travel, so you hear things. What are some projects that have you excited in the days ahead, whether in the near term or down the line, that could be a game changing or just great way for people to enjoy the next ride up?
I'm here. I don't hear you though.
You can't hear me. Oh my goodness. Okay.
I can talk about a lot of things if you'd like me to.
Let me figure
We
this
could
out.
talk about gold, which has gone up this year.
Definitely. Let me figure out
Is that
why
a
my
sign
mic.
of? In the U.S., it's only up 2.2%. In China, it's up 4.6%. And in Europe, it's up 5%, as well as India, 4.5%.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Sounds good. So, the question. So, did you hear my last question, or?
No.
Okay, you didn't. So, question is, what are some projects that have you excited in the short term and long term? Any one or two things that might be of interest and more worthy of mentioning to the audience? That's just opinion based, of course.
Projects. Okay, so the biggest thing in these crypto projects are the protocols. Everyone's trying to come up with the protocol. We're all going to work off of one big protocol. Is it EOS? Is it Ethereum? What is it? Hyperledger, IOTA, NEM, NEO, Microsoft, Azure, VeChain, Stellar Lumens. Those are the ones that have been ranked as the best ones to watch for 2019. As far as projects, there's so many amazing projects. It's quite exciting to see all of this new technology. But to see that we can lower the costs of things, that we can be more accurate, that we can remove wasted time and wasted money is super efficient. I think the future is truly technology and learning how to work in this field if you can.
Yeah, good point. Now looks like we might have a caller, and let's see if we can get a call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
How you doing, Mike? It's Russell from Missouri.
I'm doing good. It says Russell from Missouri.
Yeah.
How you doing, Russell? What's on your mind? What's your thoughts, or what's your question?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you, Merri?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. The question I have for you is there's a lot of different people who think that Bitcoin has to be the one that's going to win, has to be the only one that is there for it to actually do what it's supposed to do, or do you think that there will be other cryptocurrencies that actually make it to the to help the economy and everything? And I'm gonna listen to this on the radio because I have a double play going here.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you, Mary. Did you hear that question?
He's asking why Bitcoin is the main coin.
Do you think Bitcoin is? Do you think Bitcoin is the main coin, and will it be beneficial to help the economy and the given the fact that we expecting a monetary reset restructuring, will Bitcoin be included in the next line of global monetary powers that be, or something of that nature?
I absolutely do. I actually think it's a great thing. Bitcoin being the first, the technology is a little behind. It is 7 TPS. It is slow. It is not made for microtransactions. They are working on it now. They're putting in smart contracts. They're putting in the Lightning Network. So they're working on the scaling, the sharding. They're trying to make it the best one. And because there are so many strong, smart people behind it, willing to put their money into this, I think it has a great chance to succeed.
Good point there. Good point there. So, caller, appreciate you calling in and asking that question there. So, let's move on to sound money, precious metals, gold. You mentioned gold is doing the best or doing very well thus far. Let us know your thoughts on gold. And so, another thing, we'll go right into that. What are your thoughts on coins or cryptocurrencies backed by gold? Is that going to be a trend that we can expect taking off, or what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think what it does, instead of me buying these huge gold bars and storing them in my house, it allows me to keep them in a cold wallet on this coin. So I think when you buy that, you buy the gold, you give them the gold, and they give you the coins. And so it's in my wallet, the same as any digital money would be. But this money is truly backed with gold. Right. So if the dollar is moving, the gold can move in a different direction. It is not going to move like all the other coins will. I believe they're doing it with cobalt, silver. They were talking about diamonds. There were 4 projects doing that. You know, it is the direction that we are going 100%, because we are learning to tokenize things like buildings and art.
Yeah, good point there. Now, we talked about Reggie earlier. Let's talk a little about Veritasium. And so, I remember when Reggie was on, he was mentioning about the project coming out. And at that time, I was listening, but I really didn't listen. So a little late to the party as far as what the initial launch was and what it did during the pump phase. But excited about it now. So what are your thoughts on him tokenizing the world for the most part? He's in Africa, and he's trying to do his best to get on exchanges and tokenize stock there. And so do you think that project Veritasium stands a chance to meet the complete expectations that I think Reggie has for tokenizing the world for the most part?
I absolutely think tokenizing gold is brilliant. It has its purpose. It's way easier. Reggie has a lot going on. He is incredible. He works, I think, 24/7, as do many of smart people I meet in this industry.
Yeah.
He's going into countries, I told you, where they don't have these things, and he's trying to bring it in. He's bringing adoption into the places that really need it. A lot of us in this industry want to remove the words third world country. We want to bring people up. I think this can do it. Gold is by far probably the #1 thing that I would back a coin with, other than at the moment the US dollar to me. Yeah. So I think that's truly brilliant. I'm seeing all kinds of interesting projects, and I'm seeing more projects with gold. So there's people following him, so he must be in the right direction.
Right. I agree 100%. And so it's been great, Merri Silverstein, having you on here. And so, as always, I want to give any last questions for anybody out there, or if anybody want to call in and ask a question, feel free to do so. And so as we wind down this interview, it's been great having you on to share your thoughts. And so let's talk a little bit about future predictions on the dollar. And so what are your long-term thoughts on the dollar? Like, will it be around? Will it be something that people will still have confidence in, say 5, 10, 15? What are your thoughts on the Federal Reserve note as a reserve currency moving forward?
They're not too good. And before I even go that deep, I'd like to say the fact that we do have tangible coins and dollar bills is a complete waste. It takes a couple $1 billion a year to manufacture those. We can go to digital in a moment and already be in a better place. Again, I want it countable. I want it to be somewhere that we can see it, transparent. But I think that in 2019 and definitely in 2020, you're going to see more than a recession. It is going to be bad. I don't care what people think. I'm glad that people love our country and want to believe in it and want to trust it and want to believe in all good things to come. But that's just not what I see. We have a real estate market here where couples are retiring at 65. And who's coming in to buy their homes? Young kids are coming out of college with debt. They're not looking to get married. They don't make all that much money, and they spend all of it. No one's teaching them how to save.
Yeah.
Crypto might be a good thing for them.
Yeah.
So that's where our future is going. You have to look at the young people to understand the future, and the older people. And there's a huge gap there. Saving itself in this country is not very big. Most people do not have very much money in the bank. They save about a month's worth of money to live on.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit troubling, and we have quite a lot of debt.
Right. All right. Good point there. Now, we had a call, but it looks like we lost them. So if you give a call back, try to get you on. But if not, I want to be respectful of your time this evening. And so as always, any last thoughts you want to leave us with? Anything worthy of mentioning this last go around that we may not have covered that you perhaps would like to say?
Well, I'd like to say that sometimes people can become very wealthy from investing in things that they understand and maybe others don't. Things that you believe in, things that you feel there's a need for. And those are the people that have bought into Bitcoin. It is not a scam. It is not a Ponzi scheme. It is just another currency. It is definitely the future in one way or another, but it has brought us so much technology that we're going to change the planet like never before. Understandable.
Well, Merri Silverstein, it's been a pleasure having you join us on RTD Live Talk this evening. Thank you for once again for your time. What does that sound? Other than that, everybody, it's been great having you guys tune in this evening. Thanks for all the chats, as well as the back and forth and the call that we did receive and the one we did miss. But as always, people, feel free to give this video a thumbs up, share this, let your friends know what's going on over here at RTD Live Talk. Look forward to bringing more news and more information such as this as we move into the year, because it's just the beginning of the year and there's a lot of things to come, good and bad in both ways. So thanks again for tuning in, and be blessed, be safe. See you guys tomorrow night. Enjoy yourself.
Night.